Attention viewer, you are watching the world's biggest monster truck diecast YouTube channel. This is Monster Jam OCT.
Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another Monster Jam OCT review video. Today we have something quite special, probably one of the highlights of 2020 collecting, and you're probably wondering why you're seeing the Gravedigger 5-pack in a Max D 5-pack video. But the purpose is just to show you guys what was released before this pack and just to kind of recap that. So as you guys are probably aware by now, last year in October 1st, we received the first ever retro 5-pack by Spin Master, which featured Gravedigger's Legacy Evolution here. So we have the Gravedigger Primer truck, of course, the first Gravedigger, then what they call Gravedigger number 1, the panel van, the blue one, including also Gravedigger number 1, the Grandma Edition, which featured the back doors. We'll come back to this in a moment later on in this review. So this was the Grandma Gravedigger, and we also received two others, which was a custom concept edition of, I believe, Gravedigger 3, I can't even remember now, and then of course Gravedigger 20 or Green Ghost, which was in that 5-pack as well. Here's the recap of that 5-pack. If you guys haven't picked them up yet, this would be the time to pick them up because they're about to go away. Now, today we have something that you're probably shocked but excited to hear about, which is of course the Max D Retro 5-pack, and here it is for the first time on camera. The Retro Edition Max D Maximum Destruction 5-pack, only at Target. Again, it's a Target promotion. We have the little symbol here, which shows the years of Max D's evolution, and those two first trucks, Maximum Destruction, the original, the Max D Red, the Yellow Max D 10th Anniversary Glow, and look at that, the beautiful Team Meents. And I am ecstatic to open this up. I want to thank my friend Danny for going to pick this up for me. They are at Target. For some reason, they're already out. They're supposed to be out on October 1st, but they have reached a Target in California, which probably means you'll be seeing this pretty soon in your Targets, as long as the Gravediggers kind of pass through quickly. So we'll see what happens. I'm not quite sure why this is out so early. It might have just been a one-time deal where we just see it before October, but it's highly unlikely. I think it'll kind of create a domino effect with more Targets. So there's that, and I'll show you guys the packaging before I open it up. So here's the side here with yellow Jared Eichelberger's Max D. Here's the back here with the evolution. Now you're probably wondering why it says 2003 and Team Meents is 2002. It's because this is a Max D Maximum Destruction pack. So 2003 starts with Maximum Destruction up to 2016, which is Yellow Max D. But they still included Tom Meents' Team Meents because they didn't want to call it a Team Meents Max D Maximum Destruction pack. What they could have done, although it's not the more popular option, would have been to call it a Tom Meents pack. But I see why they included Team Meents instead of making it that whole name or whatever. So that's why the dates are a little weird, but it does make sense since this is Maximum Destruction and this is not. But they wanted to get this in there. So there's Team Meents, obviously 2002, the predecessor to the future of Max D. And before Team Meents for 2 years, we had the Goldberg monster truck with this body. And then, of course, Maximum Destruction, which debuted in 2003. Then the 10th anniversary in 2013. They did not put the Max D Glow on the back of the package. They actually put the Spiked edition of the 10th anniversary truck, but the one we received in this packaging is the Glow edition. And then in 2016, they had two different bodies. Actually, they had four, but two different bodies that they feature in this pack, which are the Red Max D, which we call the Neil Elliott Max D, and of course the Jared Eichelberger Yellow Max D. So there's the Yellow Max D as well, and their respective logo colors with the Tom Meents. I like that they credit Tom Meents in every single logo. So they have Tom Meents Red, Tom Meents in yellow, Tom Meents for the 10th anniversary, and then of course Tom Meents Maximum Destruction. And this one doesn't require it since it is Team Meents. So there is the back of the packaging, the evolution of the Tom Meents trucks for the Maximum Destruction bodies, and then we have Neil Elliott's Red Max D right here. And then on the top here we have the logos for each truck, and the bottom. Nothing really special. So I'm gonna open this up, I'll be right back, and we'll check it out up close on camera. And something I have not mentioned yet, but I figured you probably already noticed in the beginning of the video, is that this is the debut not only of these new Max D trucks for Spin Master, but also Spin Master's first ever and the world's first ever Tom Meents chassis. And what I mean by that is obviously it is a front engine, as we call it, This is not the official Willman chassis, but as we nickname it, the Willman chassis. So you can see there, it is the first time we're seeing this Willman chassis. And I'll actually begin by showing you guys really quick underneath the hood of this chassis. This is something that Jordan and the engineering team at Spin Master worked on for a very, very long time. I remember sitting with him at the All-Star Challenge and discussing this, and also World Finals 20 when it was first a concept. So this is an amazing thing to see come to fruition here, the Max D chassis. So you can see the front headers there are different than the normal collectors. They are a classic Tom Meents style. We have the motor there in the front, and then we have the rest of the chassis with the coilover shocks, which is really nice. And then there's the side here, and then this side, same thing going on. But the bottom, I've noticed that the actual rubber bands that hold the trucks in have damaged every single one of these trucks, which is kind of interesting. Maybe that's something they can look at to fix for the packaging before these go widespread. Mine are all damaged. They have a little bit of a curve due to the rubber band holding them into the packaging, but there's the damage there. Anyway, I'm assuming it clicks, yep, clicks right off. So here's the roll cage setup for the Willman chassis. Just an awesome thing. Here's the chassis itself, the motor, the bottom. So thank you to Jordan, thank you to Team Spin Master at the design team. We have such an awesome team, and they are dedicated with things like this. So this is the first time ever. Beyond excited, but I'm also really excited to see everything else. So there's the first big thing in this pack. So we're gonna start this review. We will begin with the yellow Max D that we just looked at, and I'll make my way backwards actually through the evolution, because I think that Team Meents is my favorite, and I want to end on Team Meents. But here is yellow Max D, Jared Eichelberger's Max D, and this is actually an inaccurate description of this. This is actually one of the rare instances where Max D runs on a CRD or rear engine chassis. So Hot Wheels, who had this Max D back in their day, did do it correctly with the rear engine. But so here's the roof here. We have the 11-time champion logo, of course. These did not run when Tom Meents won his championship, so that makes sense that it does not exist up there, the 12-time. There's the black stripe running down the top, of course. The back here with the taillights in red, they are 3D, of course. The spikes are all painted in silver, very nice touch. And then we have the Max D logo in yellow, Tom Meents logo, the Moss Gym logo, the side here with the face, of course, in yellow and orange. The front with the Max D yellow logo and the front headlights as well. And then the yellow rims and BKT tires on this truck. And then, of course, like I said, the Willman chassis. And next up is, of course, the red one, which we have also received by Mattel in the past. And Mattel did a pretty good job with the paint color, the cherry red, but both teams have yet to get the correct, just the perfect red color. And it is metallic, so you can see it has metal flake inside of the paint. And here's the side here. I want to point this out. This is a big detail they added. See that airbrushing job on the fingers of the Maximus? That's actually added on by the design team. I'm pretty sure Jordan probably did that. So those were prominent airbrush details on the real truck. So thank you to Jordan for pointing that out and putting that on the truck. So let me point with my screwdriver. You can see these little fine airbrush details. These are all added in by him. And then we have the Max D logo, the Moss Gym logo, the roof, of course, 11-time champion again, with the flame pattern. There's the front there. The spikes all painted in the silver. And then the back here has nothing, but there's the taillights and then the flame pattern again. The one thing I wish they would have done, like on their previous Spin Master Moss Gym models, we should have Moss Gym logos on the back, but they did not do that for this. So there's that, and then it has orange, solid orange rims. Another thing actually I should say, not one thing, but another thing I should say about this is that I wish they would have done the bead locks like this instead of a full rim. But anyway, you can always swap it onto that. So there is that one, and I just really like that airbrush detail on the fingers. That's awesome, micro details. And there is the Neil Elliott Red Max D with the Willman chassis, which is accurate. Very, very nice, beautiful truck. And next up is a brand new casting, the 10th anniversary Max D Glow. This ran, I believe, during the 10th anniversary Decade of Destruction season for Tom Meents and Max D. We just celebrated in 2019 the 15th anniversary of Max D, where we saw a debut of the Black Max D. But this was the special body for the double backflip stunt that Tom Meents performed at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas in 2013. I was there actually. That was my first World Final. So this truck does mean a lot to me. As you can see, it is a new casting. Mattel did make this in the past and they used black paint. The one thing about this is it should be dark gray, not this bright gray, but Mattel was wrong when they did the full black paint here. That's actually a render accurate edition of that. But anyway, you can see the difference is in the casting. This had a 3D face in real life, and this one that they made before was just a printed on 2D face. So this is a brand new casting without the spike panels, the 3D face edition of Max D with the 10th anniversary body. So let's zoom in and check it out. As you can see, it is called Max D Glow for a reason. It had these LED strips across the entire truck, which they did put onto this one. You can see them across the entire thing here. Very cool. And there's the roof there, the 10-time champion Decade of Destruction. And there's the hood. And you can see the LED patterns across the entire thing with the same flame pattern also across the entire truck. But it's so cool to see the 3D face on this classic Maximum Destruction body with the Max D logo, the 10th anniversary logo. You can see the big X in it. And then we have Tom Meents. Tail lights, of course, with the LED pattern. And then this side with the same stuff. So if they remake this in the future, which I'm sure they will because this is a brand new casting, they should definitely make it dark gray to match the real truck. But this is a good first time out with this casting and this body style. And then it has the retro tires because this was 2013 without the BKTs, and solid orange retro rims with the Willman chassis, which it did run at the stunt there. So there it is, the Max D Decade of Destruction glow body. And next up is, of course, the classic Maximum Destruction truck. And this one is probably, if not my favorite, it's my second favorite. So here is Maximum Destruction. As you can see, it has the same thing, the retro rim with orange and the retro tires, of course. But this is the truck that really started it all with Tom Meents' team Maximum Destruction. As you can see here, it has Maximum Destruction on the side panel. We have the flame pattern, the Moss Gem logo, the spike printed on spikes here, which is an accurate detail, which is really nice. We have the hood here, Tom Meents. And then we have the front, which says on a mission. We will be receiving the same model without the Willman chassis in Mix 14 singles pack. So if you guys don't find this pack, you probably will find that one instead, but it's more likely that you'll find this pack over the singles. And then we have the side here with Tom Meents again and Maximum Destruction. And then the back here, which just looks amazing. It is fully wrapped completely with all of the coils in the back, which has never been done before. I think that's actually the Advanced Auto Parts Moss Gem logo, which is pretty crazy right there. And then the face, of course, with the fire fully wrapped on the back with the taillights in 3D form. And of course, the Moss Gem logo should be there, but they missed out on putting it there. And then I want to compare it to Mattel's edition just to show you how much more detail they have added in there. The full wrap job of all these coils over everything and the flames too really shows the difference in the design team strategies and efforts, I guess you would say. So you can see they definitely went above and beyond with fully wrapping the back there like it should be. So this looks amazing. Again, it might turn out being my favorite of this pack actually. So there is the Willman chassis edition of the classic Maximum Destruction, the one that truly started it all. And next up, in the final truck in this pack, is the Team Meents for Spin Master. This is something I've been asking for and something that they finally delivered on. I am thrilled to see Team Meents out in the 5-pack. Now, there are a couple things that I will complain about with this truck to critique it and fix for the future, but for the first time run by Team Meents and Spin Master, this is perfect. So here is Team Meents. As you can see, it has gray rims for the retro edition. The real truck ran the bronze or kind of light gold rims, so I'm not sure why they went with the debut Encore rims that they had for this truck, but there are gray rims on this one, which don't look actually too bad. I actually like them, but I would like to see an accurate edition later on. And then you can see here the side says Tom Meents and Team Meents with the flame pattern. One of the things I'm going to say here is that the Team Meents logo should have the silver outline around it, a pretty significant outline that you'll notice when I compare it to the Mattel model. So you can see that dark gray outline. I'm not sure why they gave the design team that logo without it, but there is the Meents logo without that on there. And then we have the USHRA badge and USHRA.com. Very interesting that they actually added these two on there. We have yet to see this added onto any Monster Jam truck, any Retro Rebel of the past. So they did do that on here. And then another thing I want to talk about for future corrections is that the fender should have flames right here. It kind of cuts right off, which looks a little weird, but I'm sure that won't be too difficult to fix for future ones. So that's something I would note for design team. It is a matte clear coat, by the way, kind of like a semi-gloss clear coat with the gold metal flake paint. So anyway, that's pretty cool. And then the front here has the On a Mission, which we have never received on a die-cast model of Team Meents before. So thank you for that one. That's really cool. And then the front headlights with the two stripes there. And then, of course, 2000 to 2001 World Champion was the last time this Team Meents ran. So it only ran for 1 year in between 2002 and 2003. So you can see that was his championships at the time. He is now a 12-time champion, which is insane. And then it has the flames on both sides. And then the roof here, Team Meents with the fire. And then the professor himself, the madman, Tom Meents, his own face on the truck in the back for the first time ever in die-cast form. So this is where we kind of pivot into the comparison between Mattel and Spin Master. But let me do one more thing, which I just noticed is the Monster Jam logo on the back tailgate. This is the only one to feature it, and I believe it's because they don't have the Monster Jam logo on the side panel. So that's very nice of them to put that there. And then, of course, the taillights, which look different to the original ones that we just saw. It has more of a dark look to it, which is really cool. And then this side panel has the same stuff going on. So the couple things I had noted would be the Team Meents outline, the fender wrap here, and that's pretty much it. The rest of the lettering also needs to have the outline, but besides that, this is a perfect Team Meents model. And for a first time out by Spin Master, I would consider it perfect enough really for this purpose, and also the gold rims, but that's really not that big of a deal for this first time out. So this is amazing. Comparing it to what we had in the past, which we'll get into that now, to give some context for maybe some new viewers, maybe new Monster Jam fans, Goldberg, which was the first ever Max D truck, debuted, and Mattel made it based off the original render. So it had this weird kind of curved body, the concept truck as we call it. It had no back tailgate. So unfortunately, Goldberg was never made accurately. We never got Goldberg, the actual wrestler's face, back here. So this is the casting they used for, I believe, 11 years or 10 years. So they never changed it when they actually realized that Maximum Destruction was not using this body. So Goldberg was made inaccurately like this with this body. And back in the day, Team Meents was also made with that same body. So we never got that back area with Tom Meents in there. And also On a Mission was never printed on the front. So they did make Team Meents this way. So we counted on them to fix it because in 2011... Sorry for all the history lesson, but 2011 is when we received this Maximum Destruction body, the actual accurate one by Mattel. So we assumed in 2017, 6 years after they made this body, they would make the accurate Team Meents when they announced it. But no, for some reason, they went back and recasted the old casting in 2017. So for 18 years now, we have been waiting for an accurate Team Meents. They made this one once again for some reason with this old body instead of doing the casting they already had available to them for this. So I'm not sure what they were thinking with that, but Spin Master is the first company to actually make a die-cast model accurately with the accurate detail of Tom Meents, the USHRA stuff, and then the On a Mission in the front here. So this is amazing. Thank you to Jordan at Team Spin Master for making this truck correctly. I want to compare it kind of to this. The back doors he did completely by hand for our own collecting selves. So he did this all by himself. He also added this on. So these details are very comparable since we never received either of these on previous diecasts. So this is awesome. Thank you again to Jordan. He really deserves a lot of credit. He worked so hard there at Team Spin Master. And that will conclude the Max D 5-pack. So thank you again to my friend Danny for picking this up. You guys might have some luck finding one in Target soon. If not, you guys don't have to worry. These will be in Target widespread eventually, just like the Gravedigger 5-pack was. So this has been the 5-pack. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. This is Random Monster Jam OCD signing out.